walk with me. So I had the loveliest realization today, as well as, financially being enough and feeling held, blah, 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 blah. I also realized I don't want to pull myself up by the bootstraps, because each time I think about starting my next season and moving to a location that's conducive for my career and being around people with like crackpot dreams that they're 100% gonna make real, I keep thinking, like, what can I do? How can I make this happen? And I love that about myself. I love that I'm very type A, make it happen today. I love that. But something I'm trying to lean into is the concept of interdependence. And I don't have to do everything by myself. And funnily enough, I don't. Especially when it comes to life transitions. I never get to where I'm going by myself. It's always with a community, there's always a team, there's always people in my corner making sure that every box is checked and that I have what I need. Because I just be doing things. I just be doing things like grad school. You think I know how to write a grad entrance essay? The little application essay? No, I don't. But life was kind enough to introduce me to a PhD student who did, and he put me on sauce. Put me on. He gave me the secret formula and used it, and I used it. And he said, actually, I'll even edit it for you. I said, a real one. And someone else came along and was like, you need a portfolio done? Like, I do that for a living. Let me help you. And students in those programs, I would reach out and they'd be like, you might be my underclassman one day. Come here. Let me help you. I'm not supposed to tell you this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. And I just love the serendipitous meeting and like people coming along to help you along the way. Like, this is why I love being generous and giving back, because I know I'm going to ask for help. And that's what today was, that realization of, I want to ask for help. But not just to move. I want to live in a way where help is the system, help is the norm. Stick with me. So, everywhere we look, everything is a measure, everything is a metric for how independent you can be, right? An apartment, traditionally, you think you get yourself an apartment, you rent one for yourself, right? If you have to share it with your roommates, that's not really the ideal. That's not what people dream of. You're not putting that on your vision board typically of, oh yeah, I'm sharing a room with like 2 other people. No one's putting that on their vision board. Most people I know, at least. And traditionally, a car, you don't get a car for a group of people. You buy yourself a car. You get yourself a job, right? You start your own family. These are not collective ventures. These are not group projects. It's go figure it out by yourself. Go make it happen by yourself. And so I spent a good chunk of the past year or so getting really, really curious about, what does it look like to really live in community? And not like, oh, I have a house, the homie has a house, we have houses together, but genuine interdependence and shared stewardship of basic resources, right? What does it look like to have housing that is shared in a comfortable way? I'm still exploring that one because I feel iffy about that one. But the bigger one for me is a community garden, right? Something about water. Don't ask me about them other ones. Food was the main one for me. Was I would love a community food forest, right? Grows out of the ground, plants native to the area, they make food. And because they're native, there's not a whole lot of human intervention going on. They're just doing their thing. It's symbiotic, right? They're doing what they were going to do regardless, and you get to eat along the way. That's my kind of thing. That's my kind of thing. And then you get to do it with the homies. That's my kind of living. And so along those lines, I'm obviously still figuring a lot of that out, but the point is stop treating every life milestone or lack thereof as this measure of yourself as a person, right? Because there's entire systems at play. Entire systems at play, entire cultural norms and ways of thinking that we don't consciously think about. We just inherit them. These are just stories we inherited from our parents, from their parents, from their parents' parents, and not that long ago, slavery was a thing. So just keep that in mind. But I say all that to say, I can't speak for other people, but I'm very invested in learning what it looks like to navigate life in community, not just use community as a tool to get from one phase of life to the next, like I did with applying to grad school, but what does it look like to navigate day-to-day life in community, right? Where being fed isn't a personal success or failure, but something that's a community matter, where having housing isn't a personal success or failure. It's a community matter, and not in a, is this socialism or communism? No, 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 no. Taking a step back, because we're not even concerned about white colonial frameworks. That's a conversation for another day. This is just the organizing principle. We're not talking about governments. We're not even talking about governance. We're talking about the organizing principle day to day, where the metrics for success, they are not personal moral failures or successes. It is, what does it look like for day-to-day existence to be a community matter? So that's what I'm sitting on. I invite you to sit and think about that too, especially in this economic climate. So that's all for today.